For this unit, the driving question has been, how are cancer cells different than molecules? You have been working to understand the differences between the two different types of cells, and in this lesson, your goal is to be able to answer 3 questions. How do cells divide? When do they divide? And do they need to be told when or when not to divide? So here are some notes that will help you be able to answer some of those questions. So we're looking at the cell cycle and mitosis. So the cell cycle starts with interphase. It is the longest phase of the cell cycle, and this is when your cell will grow. It makes your proteins, your organelles, and DNA is also copied. There are 3 phases to interphase. You have G1, S, and G2. The second part, after interphase, we move into mitosis. Mitosis is the division of the actual nucleus, and it forms 2 new nuclei, and each has an identical set of DNA from the original cell. And within mitosis, there are 4 phases. You have P, M, A, and T. P for prophase, M for metaphase, A for anaphase, and T for telophase. And then the last part of the cell cycle is cytokinesis. Cytokinesis is the division of the actual cytoplasm within the cell, and this is when your organelles are separated. And you then have 2 identical daughter cells that are formed from one original cell. So here's a diagram of the cell cycle. You can see that you have this right here, this whole thing right here, this purple part, this purple pie piece is interphase. You have G1, which is cell growth. You have the S phase, where DNA replication occurs. And then you have the G2 phase, which is preparation for mitosis, where growth happens again. And then once you leave the G2 phase, you go into this mitosis. And you have your 4 different phases of mitosis where the actual division of the cell starts. You have prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. And if you notice right here, the end of the cell cycle is cytokinesis, where you are dividing the cytoplasm and actually creating 2 new cells. From cytokinesis, each of those 2 new daughter cells will then go right into interphase and start the cycle all over again. So the cell cycle, does it spend equal amounts of time in each part of the cell cycle? No, it doesn't. In which part of the cell does the cell spend most of its time? Interphase. And on average, how long does a cell typically spend in mitosis? It just depends. It could be a few minutes to several days. It just depends on the type of cell that you have. So the rate of mitosis is different in different tissues. So cells that rarely divide are your nerve cells, muscle cells, and then cells that divide rapidly are your skin, digestive tract, and bone marrow. So hair would also be one that is rapidly dividing. You have all of these that turn over cells quickly. When we look at interphase, the first part is G1, where the cell grows rapidly and makes proteins and organelles. After G1, the cell enters what we call the first checkpoint. It's a go or no-go point. If the cells continue, they will divide. But at checkpoint 1, the cell is checking for cell size, nutrients, growth factors, DNA damage. Okay, it's looking to make sure that all of these things are on par for movement to move to the next phase. If they're not, they will not go. They will go to apoptosis. If they're a go, they move into interphase. They move into the S phase of interphase, where the DNA is copied, meaning it's replicated. So it goes from an unreplicated chromosome, where you have a single chromatid, to a replicated chromosome, where you have sister chromatids. These sister chromatids are identical. After S phase, you go to interphase, the second G2, the second G phase, G2 phase. And the cell is going to continue to grow in size and prepare to divide. It's going to make all those organelles that helps the cell function and the molecules required for division. After G2, you have a second checkpoint. It's again looking to make sure that the DNA replication is complete and accurate, that the cell size is adequate, and if the DNA is okay, then the cell will continue to divide. If the DNA is not, then the cell should go through apoptosis. After G2, the cell enters mitosis. And here we need to know some parts of the cell to help us understand mitosis. You should have learned some of this in the cell unit, but let's review it. So you have chromatin inside the nucleus, and this is your long, loose strands of DNA. They're all kind of coiled up, like if you unwound some yarn and just put all that yarn in a bowl. Okay, it kind of looks like that inside the nucleus. And then you have chromosomes. So you take this chromatin and it starts to wind around your histone proteins, and it creates a chromosome. So in eukaryotic, DNA is wound around those proteins to form highly condensed structures that we call chromosomes. Then, once they condense, you have a chromatid, one of the two thick strands of a chromosome. It's made of a single long molecule of DNA. Okay, so right here is your single chromatid. Okay, when it's replicated, you have two sister chromatids. And then you have a centromere, which is the region of the chromosome that holds sister chromatids together. So the centromere is right here. So first phase of mitosis is your prophase. This is where your DNA will condense into chromosomes, okay? And it's replicated at this point because we replicated it in S phase of interphase. The centrioles, okay, and here's your centrioles right here, and your spindle fibers, which are right here, will start to appear. The nuclear membrane, which is around the nucleus, will start to disintegrate, and then the spindle fibers will start to attach to these chromosomes at the centromere. And here you can see the difference of prophase between a plant and an animal. So on the left is your plant cell, and on the right is your animal cell. Next part of mitosis is metaphase, and this is where your centrioles right here have migrated to each pole, okay, and the spindle fibers have spread out, and they are attached to the centromeres of the replicated DNA, of the replicated chromosomes. And these are going to align, these spindle fibers are going to align your chromosomes right on the equator of the cell, and I like to say middle of the cell, M, middle for metaphase. Again, here is the difference. You can see the difference between a plant and an animal cell for metaphase. The last checkpoint, checkpoint 3, you're checking for chromosome attachment to the spindle fibers. If it has not attached to the chromosome, then it's no-go. Here we have anaphase, where the centromere containing chromatid breaks, and the sister chromatids separate and pull toward opposite poles, and then the cell membrane begins to crease. So here, they're pulling apart, A for apart, A for anaphase. Again, this is a diagram between the two, plant and animal. Telophase. Your spindle fibers will have dissolved here, or they're dissolving, and you are now forming two new nuclear membranes around the chromosomes. The chromosomes will start to unwind at this point, and your cell membrane will continue to crease in order to form two new cells. Again, here's the comparison between plant and animal. And then cytokinesis is where you're dividing the cytoplasm and the organelles between the two new daughter cells. Okay, so here's that telophase right here, and it's moving into cytokinesis where it divides completely into two new cells. The chromosomes are unwound into chromatin, and your membranes have been formed again. So this is this is showing you the differences between animal and plant. Here is different in that you have vesicles forming a plate wall. Okay, so and that starts from the center and moves out, and then you get two new daughter cells within. And this is what it would look like under a microscope. And just side-by-side comparison of a diagram versus what it looks like underneath a microscope. So just an example here is knowing when to stop. So suppose you had a paper cut on your finger. Although the cut may have bled and stung a little, after a few days it will have disappeared and your finger would be as good as new. So how do you think the body repairs an injury? How long do you think this repair process continues? And do you think, what do you think causes the cells to stop the repair process? Go ahead and pause and think about those questions before you continue. So cell cycle regulation, we talked a lot about those stop points, those checkpoints. So those checkpoints are regulated by cyclins. Those are proteins that help with the timing of cell division. They have internal regulators, so those proteins that respond to events inside the cell only allowed cell cycle to proceed once certain events have happened. So we talked about if the DNA was replicated correctly. So if it hasn't, it's not going to let that cell move to the next phase, okay? So these proteins are regulators, and they're the ones responsible to allow the cell past a checkpoint throughout the cell cycle. You have external regulators, which are proteins that respond to events outside the cell. You have growth regulators, which are important in development and wound healing to stimulate growth. And then closeness of neighboring cells stops growth based upon contact inhibition. So let's say inside a classroom, you start putting people in, they just keep walking in the door within a classroom. What's going to stop it is when you're not going to let any more people into that classroom once everybody is touching. That's what you call contact inhibition. Okay, if that contact inhibition regulator is not working, more people would be let into the classroom and would be piled up on top of each other, and that's what it looks like with a tumor. Okay, and all of these proteins down here are your external regulators. So uncontrolled cell growth. Cancer cells do not respond to the signals that control cell growth and division. They will divide uncontrollably and form masses called tumors. They can break loose from tumors and spread throughout the body. And here's some differences between normal and cancer cells, just looking at the structure. So for normal, you have large cytoplasm, single nucleus, single nucleolus, you have your fine chromatin. And then over here for a cancer, you have not a lot of cytoplasm, multiple nuclei within the cell, multiple enlarged nucleoli, and then coarse chromatin. So prokaryotic cell division, it's a process called binary fission, asexual reproduction. So what you need to know is that copies of DNA attach to the plasma membrane. As the plasma membrane grows, the sister chromatids are pulled apart. Once the cell completes the fission process, two new prokaryotic cells are formed. And that's a visual.